Hello everyone from wherever it is you're watching from. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Minding Your Mind. My name is Kate Roiro, an enthusiast of matters brain and the human body. Here we explore ourselves through the mind, as it is where everything is birthed. We started going on a journey on how our environment affects our personality. Sorry. We have been looking at the stages of development from 0 years based on Erik Erikson's psychosocial theories. And today we will look at the adolescent stage. Let me start by saying that during this stage, teenagers don't feel comfortable with kids, and they neither do feel accepted among adults. They feel as though they don't belong. Like for instance, if you're raised in a church, you couldn't attend youth because they seemed so old for you, and you couldn't be among the Sunday school group because you felt like you had outgrown them. And if you have had such an experience, that is exactly the feeling I am talking about. So adolescence is basically a transition from childhood into adulthood. And it can be a very difficult time for kids as they try to find a place they fit in society. This stage is also broken down into 3 groups. The first stage is 11, 12 to around 14 years. In this stage, there is rapid pubertal changes. And then we have from 14 years to 16 years. Here, the pubertal changes are nearly complete. And then we have 16 years to 18 years. And here, the teenage has developed all appearances of an adult. And if you're wondering, yes, there is a difference between adolescence and puberty. Puberty is more of the biological changes that lead to this transition and maturity, like breasts, like a deepened voice, or beards, or hips, broadening of the hips. And the transition itself is what we refer to as the adolescence. So teens undergoing this transition can encounter serious difficulties, especially emotional disturbances. However, note that these emotional disturbances are not parallel, and it is not a one fit for all type of thing. How a teenager or how your teenager will behave at this point will be influenced by many factors, including your social, your culture, your biological and physiological and environment. So as a parent raising an adolescent, you are probably wondering, if you have lost your knack for parenting because your child is drifting further and further from you. They are always on edge, they are troubled, restless, and they are just moody. Sometimes they are elated, happy, and then the next minute it's like they are falling into an abyss. They are depressed, never wanting to stay at home with family, or acting as though, being seen with you is a crime. And this takes me back down memory lane, because I was that kind of a teenager. I wouldn't want to be seen, with my mom. I was so embarrassed to be seen with her, and I don't know why. As a parent, it's imperative to note that your teenager needs you to be patient and understanding as they are changing into adults. And nothing really feels right for them. They don't understand what is going on. It's a very new face for them, and it can be very emotional. And for most parents, there is nothing as scary as knowing that your kid will one day be a teenager, or right now maybe they are teenagers, or later on in future you will have a kid and they will be teenagers. Speaking for most parents, you wonder if they will be safe. You wonder, you're in constant worry, if they will engage in harmful behaviors like drug use. You wonder if they are girls, whether they will get pregnant at 15. Sorry, you worry about their heightened sex drive and so on, and it is such a nightmare. I remember when I was in this stage, a certain woman was telling her fellow moms that most adolescents don't make it through. They either go mad or kill themselves, and I was standing right there. I was so terrified that I lived through this stage, especially in my high school, just wondering, just waiting for the day I will go mad or in the worst case die. And imagine these kind of conversations happen in some, parents group, or, with your friends, as they share their scary stories of how they relate, or others how they failed to cope as maybe mothers, and others raising teenagers or as teenagers themselves. And these will add up to your worry and confusion as a parent, especially when your teenager starts to show signs of rebellion. And let me let you know that rebellion in an adolescent is a very necessary procedure, because it does not transpire during, if it does not transpire during, these teen years when it is supposed to, it will occur at some point in the future. And you wouldn't imagine your kid being in a middle life crisis and they are struggling with, their attitude. I mean, so don't see rebellion as a direct attack from them, or that they are trying to demean your authority. Your teenager is just trying to find their own identity that is independent from you as a parent or family. They are seeking, capacity for making their own decisions. So in a sense, it is a positive process, because imagine what will become of your child if they never resisted, or rejected your control. He or she will be under your authority, perhaps under your roof forever. And just imagine what this world will do to them. So a little rebellion is okay as your adolescent is trying to find their own values, their own ideas, controls, and the things they stand for. So here, child's identity and self-respect are at stake, as they no longer want to be considered your property. They don't want you to be so overprotective with them, but on the other hand, they still remain to be your responsibility. So be wise enough as a parent to know that their reaction is not something against you, but something that is developing within them. And it is new to them as it is also new to you. So as hard as it is for both of you, the parent and the teenager, you should communicate openly and help each other explore, through these persistent problems. And apart from rebellion, you may expect a teenager to also, challenge your authority in a number of areas. You tell them to do B, and then you will see them doing A, and they will talk back to you. They will argue with you, they will test the rules, maybe a little or overboard. They will question religion and reject family values that have long been established, and they may demonstrate the same challenge to authority in the dress code they choose. Like, I remember in our high school, I wanted to wear the shortest skirt, the tightest blouse, and do other wild stuff. And if you ask me why right now, for sure, I can't tell you the reason for all that. I just wanted to do that, and many teenagers like to experiment, and some of them will even experiment with alcohol, with drugs and sex. And I know most of you parents have tried almost everything or even worse. And guess what, parents? Whether your teenagers' period of rebellion will remain in the confines of quote-unquote normal, or whether they will spin out of control, will be dependent to a great extent on your reaction to it. If you redouble, your efforts to dictate, unasema like you want to be the toughest, ati akikausha kichwa na wewe unakausha zaidi, your kid will spin out of control. They will plant a seed of revolt. It will be deep rooted inside them, and you might be able to control them for a time when they are living under your roof, but maybe they will vow that someday, somehow, they will even it out with you. So choose to show patience while your child is finding his or herself, him or herself, and you will not work yourself out of a relationship with them. The maturity of your actions will help them recognize that life is 10% what happens to a person and 90% how they choose to react to it. And that is of utmost importance. So how then do you know if your adolescent's rebellion has spun out of control or it is abnormal, and what do you do about it then? Join me in my next episode as we look at abnormal rebellion from adolescents, how to identify it and how to tackle it. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so, and also follow me on my other social media accounts. I go by Kate Roiro all over, and see you next time, same place. Bye.